Welcome back. You're still tuned in to Salam Media, and the name of the show is News and Views. We've come to the back end of the show, and we're closing with a very, very important topic. We'll be diving into a controversial issue surrounding the academic and cultural boycott of Israel and the role of medical professions in the ongoing genocide that the Israeli illegitimate government has embarked on for the last 15 months. The Ophthalmological Society of South Africa recently withdrew its invitation to Dr. Didi Fabian, an Israeli ophthalmologist from Sheba Hospital in Tel Aviv, after objections from the Palestinian campaign for the academic and cultural boycott of Israel. Dr. Fabian has defended his work and he has said he's been treating Palestinians, including those evacuated from Gaza. In this discussion, we'll be joined by Rina from SAJFP for Free Palestine, an organization that supports the boycott of Israeli institutions, and she'll be helping us to discuss their stance on the matter and the broader implications of this boycott, and most importantly, the importance of boycotts. And we'll also getting, I think, very, very insights from them on maybe the ceasefire and what do they make of it thus far. Rina, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to Salam Media today.
Good morning, Salelo, and good morning, Salam Media, and thank you for inviting us.
Pleasure's all ours. I think, can we start maybe with a bit of background on, this issue and why SAJFP for Free Palestine supports the academic and cultural boycott of Israel, particularly in this context of Dr. Fabian's invitation being withdrawn by the Ophthalmological Society of South Africa?
So unfortunately, the invitation has been reinstated probably because of the certain people in the community who support a genocide, who support the bombing of hospitals, who support the ethnic cleansing of Palestinians from Gaza and from the West Bank. They obviously held the society to ransom, and they have reinstated the invitation, which is very unacceptable. Dr. Fabian is a director of Sheba Hospital, which was originally a military hospital. He has not objected to the genocide. He has not spoken out against anything, and he's using our historical trauma and weaponizing it because of his individual and also because of his individual acts of kindness. It's very easy to treat a patient in front of you. And we implore the medical community, the sports community, all of South Africans to not invite Israelis, academics, and people complicit in the genocide and in the ethnic cleansing of Palestinians to South Africa. We've suffered apartheid. Palestinians are still suffering apartheid, and it's against international law to support a system that is supporting an apartheid state. So South Africa needs to be aware, and preferably we should legislate against supporting apartheid, because how can we bring somebody in who has clearly not spoken out, is clearly complicit? He's a director of this hospital, and this hospital has been complicit in the genocide with the Israeli occupying forces in Israel. Now they are bombing and they are attacking hospitals in the West Bank. Isn't it very clear what Israel is trying to do? It's just and South Africa needs to stand up against this. South Africa is a shining example in the world. Everybody holds the South African flag and the Palestinian flags together because they know that we have overcome some part of our terrible history of apartheid. We still need to overcome the economic vagaries that apartheid and the educational vagaries that apartheid have left us, which is probably why the Ophthalmological Society of South Africa could reinstate that invitation. How do you invite somebody who is clearly involved and clearly complicit in the genocide and in apartheid in Israel to South Africa to address us? It's actually been stated. I read a report about how the eyes of Palestinians in Gaza have been affected, how the gas, the poison gas, the phosphorus that was sprayed down on Gaza and in Lebanon has affected people's eyes. What has Dr. Fabian said about that?
There's always this accusation that such calls for boycotts are anti-Semitic. It's frequently raised, and it's one that I think is always a go-to comment when you call for such boycotts. How does SA Jews for a Free Palestine respond to these claims, especially in light of the fact that this boycott is directed specifically at the Israeli government and not Jewish people at large?
If Hindu people had gone and occupied Palestine and ethnically cleansed Palestinians from Palestine, Palestinians would be raging a battle against their oppressors, their Hindu oppressors. It has got nothing to do with religion. Religion does not say you need to bomb hospitals. The Jewish religion says that if you save one life, you save the world. Israel has killed at least 47,800 Palestinians, mostly women and children, and they continue to kill people now in the West Bank, humiliate people. That is not Judaism. It is all about settler colonialism, about taking over the country, taking over the land, and America sees it's important to have a white supremacist country within the Middle East, and hence they support this white supremacist country. It's got nothing to do with Judaism, and I think it's very anti-Semitic to say committing a genocide is a Jewish tradition. It is not a Jewish tradition. Do not accept that.
No, definitely. So what's the next step right now? You've mentioned that the invitation for Dr. Didi Fabian has been reinstated. He'll be making his way to South Africa. What can we do? What can activists, what can South Africans who know and understand what oppression is, who know and understand the history of South Africa, and who are very, very passionate about the cause of the people of Palestine can do right now to further put pressure, on OSSA to make sure that this does not happen, not in South Africa, not in our soil?
So we urge all South Africans to write an email, to phone OSSA. Their contact details on ossa.co.za. Contact them, tell them how they are supporting apartheid, they're supporting a genocide by having somebody like Dr. Fabian coming to address us and supporting the Israeli regime. We need to protest at the conference and make sure that we do not invite such people and we are not subjected to the ransom. And a lot of it's a financial ransom because Jewish people were privileged in South Africa. They were white and they accumulated a lot of wealth. So they use that wealth in order to hold these organizations to ransom, and it's just unacceptable. Even other people who support Zionism and who supporting this genocide are, not necessarily Jewish even. So just protest it, make sure that it is embedded in our system that we are not allowing these people to come and justify, and we need to isolate Israel the same as South Africa was isolated. That is the only way that Israel is going to stop the apartheid and the genocide and the ethnic cleansing that is happening. So we need to step up those measures.
All right, and I think we're going to be on that note, Rina. Thank you so much for giving us your time and for your insights on this issue. And I think it's kind of, disappointing that the OSSA has, reinvited Dr. Fabian back to South Africa. But I think we'll definitely follow up on the story and we'll be getting in touch with you in the not so distant future. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me on the show.
That was Rina King from the South African Jews for a Free Palestine. And yeah, I think, a call for boycotts and putting, organizations under pressure who are continuing to be complacent and doing business and doing all kinds of transactions with the Israeli state. Well, they need to be held accountable also. And I think, as you heard from Rina there, what you can do as a normal South African, as someone that has the cause of the Palestinian people close to their hearts, your form of activism is quite simple. You can contact the Ophthalmological Society of South Africa. Call them, send emails, harass them if you have to, and make sure that this does not happen. This invitation to Dr. Didi Fabian, who's an Israeli ophthalmologist from Sheba Hospital in Tel Aviv, his visit to South Africa does not happen, and this conference that he'll be in, well, if it does happen, it happens under the conditions of disturbance. We can't have niceties and peaceful conferences and people sipping tea and high-fiving each other while there's an ongoing genocide, and those people are complacent in that genocide. They're not saying anything about it, they're not doing anything about it. And you have organizations like the Ophthalmological Society of South Africa saying, hey, come on over to South Africa, a country that is very, very vocal about this genocide, a country that has taken the state of Israel to the ICJ to say, hey, you are committing a genocide. You are wiping out a whole people out of their land and literally off the face of the earth, and you need to be held accountable for your actions. So yeah, go to the Ophthalmological Society of South Africa. Their website is there, their contacts are there, and be active, be an active citizen. Call them and say, why do you have Dr. Fabian in South Africa? Do you know what the Israeli government that he works for, because the Sheba Hospital belongs to the Israeli government, and yeah, hold them accountable. Ask them the hard questions. Ask them if they know and understand that there's an ongoing genocide the Israeli government is committing against the people of Palestine. And this person, this Dr. Didi Fabian, is a representative of the Israeli government in a lot of ways and is here in South Africa. With that being said, we've come to the end of today's show. It's been another incredible one. Thank you so much for staying with us for the past 2.5 hours. I'll be with you again next week on the Wednesday edition of News and Views. Yeah, that's the website, www.ossa.co.za. Thank you so much to X there for putting it up. And yeah, we'll be with you then. But for now, it's been an incredible one. Thank you so much for being with us. We'll see you again next week for the Wednesday edition of News and Views. And Wadi will be with you tomorrow morning for the Juma edition of News and Views. Be sure not to miss it. But from me, Salila, and the rest of the team, sharp, sharp.